Hi you guys, good afternoon. So I'm sorry if I've been out of touch recently, and the main reason why is because I have been very busy. And as I've stated in a previous vlog, my schedule for May was a bit hectic, and it's June 2nd now, so I'm glad that the hecticness of my schedule has tapered off because I could be here in my home in the province, and I'm just walking my dogs now in the in the afternoon. So there they are. So it's usually what we do here at around this time, just so that they can spend their energy. So I actually arrived here early this morning, like around 3 in the morning. I left Manila yesterday at around 7 in the evening. So a little bit of some updates. So the turnover of our house to the new owners happened yesterday. The only problem that we're having right now is that our condo unit, the turnover is taking too long, and that's why after I have given the keys to the house yesterday, I had to rush here because I didn't have anywhere to sleep last night. But the new homeowners were actually very kind. They actually allowed us to leave some of our stuff in the garage, and they told us that because they're still going to be undergoing some renovations in the house, they're not going to be living there yet. So we could have actually stayed, but I think it's just in good taste that we actually left as intended, because they can just do whatever they needed to do with the house. And what's going to be happening right now is I'm going to be staying here in my home in the province for maybe 2 weeks, and we're just waiting for the turnover to happen. And I'm also so glad that for the 2 weeks that I am here, I'm not scheduled to do anything, which is great, because I'm also taking this as an opportunity to relax just a little bit and to get my bearings back. And the main reason why is because my circadian rhythm has been affected, because for the past month, the jobs that I have been tasked with, I was needed to wake up as early as 2 in the morning to go on location at the shoot. And it also doesn't help that I'm also a little bit physically exhausted, because the jobs that I've had in May entailed me to travel around different municipalities and provinces here in the Philippines. And also as soon as I got home from my last job, I had to start packing everything that was left in the house. So I was just really fueled by my adrenaline and the rush of things. So I'm just so glad that everything's calm now, and I can just get to relax just a little bit. Yeah, so today I'm not gonna be doing anything much. My partner actually and one of our foster kids went to the gym, and they actually invited me to go, but I declined to do so because I'm still feeling a little bit exhausted. And hopefully by either tomorrow or on Wednesday, I might have my energy back and my strength, and then I could go to the gym. So since today is my first day back here in my home in the province, I'm just gonna relax just a little bit, and I'm just gonna continue to walk my dogs, and I'm just going to try to plan accordingly and see what I can share with you guys here. Okay? Come here, Malana. Hi everyone, good morning. So today I'm heading to the grocery and I'll bring you along with me. Now, if you hear some rumbling in the background, I do apologize. That's actually the generator. We had to turn it on because we are having a blackout today. Now, for my outfit, by the way, I'm wearing this very nice, cute ensemble. So I don't think you guys can see it, so let me flip my camera over. So I'm wearing this very nice striped, marine style long sleeve shirt and some jeans. And the reason why I'm wearing this is because it's very hot outside, as you guys can see, and because it's a little bit later in the day. I'm gonna get so much sun exposure when I'm driving in the car and also when I'm walking around town, because the parking area is quite far from the grocery store, so optimum coverage is needed. Now for my footwear, I'm gonna be wearing this espadrilles that I got from Zara, I think a decade ago. It's still usable, but it has actually shown some wear and tear, like that one. I just tried to add some stitching on it so the hole doesn't get any bigger. That's why I actually put this here in the province, because I don't want to wear this when I'm in the city. Yeah, so that's basically what I'm wearing today. Now I already have all of my skincare down and I just need to put one more, and which is actually my sunscreen. So pardon if I put my phone here on my table because I need to rush out now because it's a little bit late in the day. I think it's around 10:30 in the morning. So I'm just gonna put this on and I'm gonna grab a cap when I get into the car. And then to finish everything off, of course, we're gonna have a scent for the day. So I am going to be using this old Hermes perfume. Now I'm really down to the wire of this. It's almost finished and I kind of like the scent of this. It has a very nice powdery scent to it, which I like. And yep, I have reached the very end of this bottle and I love that, because at least I know I got all of my money's worth for this perfume. Okay, so that's it. So let's head downstairs now. Alright, so I'm now in the car. So I have my sunnies on and I have my cap. Then I have my grocery basket with me, so it's time to head to town. Alright you guys, so I'm now in the designated parking lot here in town, and it's very hot outside. I put the blind shades on for the car. Now I just checked the temperature or the weather before I'm gonna step out here, and I found that it's around 33 degrees Celsius, but the real feel is 40, so it's quite hot. So I need to bring my parasol with me just so that I don't get really sunburnt or really toasted by the sun. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna go to the main market here. I need to look for coffee, so I'm hoping that they have coffee in stock, because the last time I was there was none available. And after that I'm gonna head to the grocery. So the reason why I'm saying this is because I might not be able to vlog real-time style, because there might be music and it might be noisy. Okay, so let's head on out. Okay, I couldn't find any ground coffee, so I'm gonna head to the grocery. So I just woke up from a nap. So I woke up a few minutes ago and I was just like, rolling in bed with my dog Malena, but she has since disappeared from the bedroom. I'm actually not someone who likes to nap in the afternoon, but I think my body just has a different plan for me today because as I've said early in the video, I have been waking up early to go on location for all of the jobs that I got in May. So that's that. And what I'm feeling actually is the same way I feel when I'm jet lagged. Within I get so tired early in the morning and then I get a little bit awake in the evening. So as I've said, my body clock is really out of sync, and I think my body is just asking me to set it straight. So I'm glad for that short nap, and I'm also glad that I'm not having that tingling sensation that you get when you nap in the afternoon, because I really don't like that. So with me waking up like this, bright and bubbly, it means that was a very nice, good, short nap. So yeah. And I'm also so glad though that I didn't get sick throughout the month of May. Although I had some ample time in between jobs to rest, and to relax. I was able to work out a little bit, eat properly, and just ensure that my body was in the good condition just to be able to work properly. Because it's not nice to be sick at this day and age, especially for someone like me who's freelance. Now, I actually didn't vlog anything after I came back from the grocery because one, I was hangry. I was a little bit irritated because it took me a while to get through the cashiers. I was in line for an hour and 15 minutes before I was serviced. So I think it's not the cashier's fault, but I think there was a customer who lined up in the wrong lane because when I go to the grocery here, I only get a basket, and when I go to the cashiers, I go to a basket lane. So I think this customer actually had 4 or 6 baskets in the basket lane, which is a little bit irritating because she should have gotten a big cart, and she should just have paid for her groceries at the cart lane. So I was just really, really irritated with that. And also this grocery, they have a certain type of system when you're checking out groceries. So that in itself also really delayed the checking out process. So and as soon as I got home, sorry, my dogs are barking. So as soon as I got home, I had lunch with my partner, and then after that I tinkered with some stuff and paid off some bills, and before I knew it, I was getting groggy and sleepy. And here we are right now. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go downstairs, make a pot of coffee, and maybe have a piece of bread with some cheese on it, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Hi guys, so I've already had some coffee and afternoon snacks with my partner, and while we were having that, we actually had quite a discussion about the things that we need to do before we move into our unit and before we accept it. So we actually have a punch list to go through, and as advised by friends, they told us to be very obsessed and be very nitpicky with checking out the unit and ensuring that everything that we see is in good condition and is at par at what we think what a brand new unit is supposed to be. So we have to ensure that the floor is even, all of the hinges and the cabinets are bolted in properly, and we also have to make sure that the water faucet is actually in line with the drainage spout. So that's something that we really have to think about. But the responsibility of the accepting of the unit and checking out the unit will fall with my partner, because he is scheduled to head back to the city earlier than I do. So we have to discuss that some more so that both of us will be in the same wavelength at the time that we're going to be accepting the unit, especially that I'm not going to be in the city with him. Yeah. Anyway, on a lighter note, I showed you guys earlier the basket that I was gonna use at the grocery. So let me just talk about this a little bit. So I bought this when I went to the province of Bicol. So I was there early in May. So I actually put some shorts here on YouTube and also on Instagram. So if you're interested to see that, I'm gonna put my Instagram link down below, and I'm also gonna put a link down to my YouTube shorts so that you guys can see where I was early in May. And I actually purchased this before I flew out of the province to come home to the city, and look how pretty that bag is. The weave here, so the fiber is made of water lily. It actually feels very sturdy, but it actually is very, very light. And I love that you have blue colored accents here in the weaving. Isn't that so cute? And I love that we have so much space inside here. It's actually perfect, not only as a beach bag, but you can also use it, for the grocery, and you can also use this for work. I have actually used this as a retouch bag, and I absolutely love it. It actually fits, a laptop in here. It's actually very good and very pretty and very sturdy. And this cost me around 350 pesos, so which was actually not so bad. It was actually a very good buy. So aside from this, I also purchased two other basket bags, as I like to call them. And here they are. So one is a bigger bag. So I think this is a large and this is a medium. Or maybe this is a small and this is a medium. So but I love them though, because again, they're just absolutely perfect, especially for my life here in the province, especially that I live near the beach. So I can use this either as a beach bag or even as a grocery bag. Look at that, so cute. Now I do remember the first time that I went to the United States, I actually brought one bag like this, and I would get stopped often in the streets. I was in New York actually when this happened. So people would ask me where I bought my bag, how much did it cost, and I told them this bag actually came free with the bread that I bought in my home country. So these things are actually quite affordable here, especially if the basket bag that you have doesn't come with any color or any pattern. It's so pretty. So this costs me around 250 pesos each, so it's actually quite affordable. Now the other thing that I also got while I was there was these fans as well. So I love how cute they are, by the way, and they also come in different colors. I bought 6. So hang on, because my dogs are barking. Yeah, sorry about that. So my dogs got a bit excited because my partner passed by in front of the house. He's actually walking the dogs right now, the same way that I did yesterday. Anyway, so as I've said, it's very important that we have to have a fan at this time of the year, because according to the weather report, the rainy season has started. And usually at around this time, during the beginning of the rainy season, it's very hot and humid, and it only gets cooler towards the tail end, when it's almost near November and December. So it's actually very hot and humid right now, and anything that adds coolness to the body is very much welcome. And that's why when I saw this at the souvenir shops before I flew out from Bicol, I said I'm just gonna buy some, because it's really needed, especially here in the house near the beach. Okay, yeah. And one thing, by the way, we have this bush here in front of our little lanai here, and I noticed this morning that there were sparrows building a nest on it, and I was so happy to see that, which means that it's actually the nesting season here in the Philippines. And I'm so glad that I could see a lot of birds here, and I see them flying in and out, and to see that they're actually building a nest here in front just gives me a very nice positive kind of headspace. And that's something I actually really need right now, because this entire experience of selling the house and moving, and also hoping to get jobs, as I've talked to you guys about, especially during the first part of 2025, it's been actually quite a challenge, and anything that gives off a positive vibe is actually very much welcome by me. Yeah, so at this point, I'm gonna let you go because the sun is about to set. And like, when I start to lose light, like, the picture here on my iPhone gets a bit grainy because I just use my iPhone for vlogging. But what we'll do is that we'll regroup tomorrow because tomorrow I'm planning on doing some e-window shopping for appliances because I need to get some new appliances for our unit in the city. Okay? Guys, so I was not able to revert back to you guys yesterday, and the main reason why is because I got very busy all of a sudden. So in the morning, I actually shot a video which I'm gonna put here on YouTube, and it's actually featuring my most favorite skincare products. So these are my core skincare products that I use daily, and these are also the products that I use before I put on makeup here on YouTube. So what I plan to do is I'm going to create a short for that, and then I'm gonna put the link on the description box to every YouTube video that I do from here on forward, because there are some people who ask me about my skincare regimen, and I'm just gonna share it here because there are some people who just wants to see it in action. And I do have to say though that majority of my skincare products are Filipino brands, so it might be a little bit difficult for you to source them. Because of this, I don't expect you guys to hunt down every single product that I use, but maybe you can find something similar to what I'm using and you can integrate it into your skincare routine, and maybe you might get the same results that I do. And also let me say that I don't really change my skincare products regularly. 80% of the skincare products that I showed you guys in that video I have been using for at least a decade. Okay, yeah, so I'm here in my home office right now, and the poster that you see behind me is actually the poster of the film that my partner directed. He actually won the Filipino version of the Oscar for this film as Best Director. So this used to be at our home in the city, but now it's here. So I think this is going to be a permanent fixture here in my videos, especially that this is my portion of the home office. But anyway, so as I've said the other day, we'll be doing some e-window shopping for appliances today. And the main reason why is because a lot of our appliances that were in our home in the city has found its way here. So we really need to start on a new slate for our unit. And also the main reason why is because I just found out recently, by the way, that if you moved into a condo unit, a lot of the spaces are already prefabricated. So the air conditioning units have a specific size, the area where you can put your gas range has a specific size, even your refrigerator and your water heater, things like that. So a lot of our appliances actually will not fit into our new condo unit. So that's why we have to do this. And I'm going to start by checking out a gas range because I love to cook. So the brand that I'm looking for is called Lazada. So it's actually quite a popular gas range system here in the Philippines. So I initially only wanted to get a stovetop kind of a burner, but when my partner and I were discussing this a few days ago, if we buy a stovetop burner, it means we have to have someone come in and then customize a cabinet wherein it could hold the stovetop. So and basing on how we calculate things, it turns out that it's going to be more expensive because we have to pay for labor and we have to pay for materials. So a gas range is actually a much more cheaper alternative for us. Okay, and I've actually found one, and it's actually on sale, which I'm so grateful for. So I'm just hoping that in the time that I'm going to be purchasing this, maybe at the end of the month, this will still be available. So it's actually like, a 3-gas burner with a gas manual oven. So I prefer to actually cook with gas because like, here in the Philippines, sometimes we get blackouts. Although like, in the city it's very rare, but it's just, nice to have an option to use like, gas for cooking. And also I do have to say that electricity here in the Philippines is like one of the most expensive in Asia. So a gas burner actually like, lasts longer, especially that like, we don't really cook on a daily basis. And I also love to bake, by the way, so having a gas oven is actually just absolutely perfect for me. So I kind of like what I see here, and I kind of like that it's in white because my partner and I, we actually like having like, white appliances in our kitchen, and this will just be absolutely perfect for the both of us. Okay, so I'm gonna add that to cart. Now the other thing that we have to purchase as well is a range hood. Sorry, the name like eluded me. So I'm not gonna be buying an expensive kind of a range hood, but just enough to actually suck out all of the smoke and the air when we're cooking inside the unit. So I think something very simple. So we need a 60 cm under mount hood for our kitchen as indicated on the manual in the condo unit. Okay, so this looks promising, so let me look at this. So the price is actually quite acceptable, and then it has 2 motors with a push button, and it's silver, so it's kind of like standard. I don't like to use black because black any finishings on the undermount hood might just really stand out from the kitchen. And we're also planning to repaint the cabinet doors in the kitchen into white because now it's like a faux wood kind of a color, which we actually don't like. So this one is a good choice, so let me add that to cart. And then there's also another one which is actually a little bit cheaper, which kind of works for me, and it's actually this one. So this one only has 1 motor, so it might not be as strong as the other one, and I just have to decide a little bit later, right before I purchase them, if I'm going to use a double motor under mount hood or just a 1 motor under mount hood. So I guess it all depends on how much I'm willing to spend, and also the type of cooking that I'm gonna be doing in the unit. And also I still have to double check yet on the electricity load that is given for our unit, because there's also one thing I just realized, you just can't purchase any appliance when you're moving into a condo unit. You have to work within the specific electrical capacity that the unit actually can hold for you. Okay, right, so I'm just gonna add this to cart now, and then I'm gonna save it for later. All right, and the next thing that we will be checking out is actually a washing machine. So the washing machine that I have right now, I actually don't like. It's a top load washing machine, and it doesn't do the job for me, and I find that it doesn't really clean out clothes, especially when it gets really soiled. So I have to look for a new one, and I'm actually thinking of getting a much more high-end kind of a washing machine, which is also a dryer at the same time. So I've actually did some e-window shopping a few months back, and I'm just so surprised to see the prices of these inverter washing machines that can wash and dry clothes. So I believe I found one which is actually quite affordable for me, so let me search for it. So I'm gonna go to Anson's. So Anson's is a appliance kind of a shop here in the Philippines, and let me just type it in: front load washing machine. Okay, yeah, so I actually saw this before. So this is TCL. So TCL is a Taiwanese brand, and I've had the televisions before, and they actually last quite a good time. So I'm open to that, and basing off of the price of this is quite affordable for me because like I've seen washing machines from Samsung and from LG and from American Home, but they're actually quite like out of range for me. But with this one, it's actually quite acceptable. So this is a 10 kilogram front load washer, and it's a 7 kilogram dryer combo. So I think what I understand with this is that you can actually wash clothes for as much as 10.5 kilograms, and then if you want to dry your clothes like 100%, you can only dry clothes that is as heavy as 7 kilograms. So which is not so bad because in my unit it's just gonna be my partner and I, so it's not gonna be a big house. So this is just like the perfect washing machine for the both of us. And although like we do have a drying rack also to our name in the unit, but I don't want to be like displaying my clothes in the drying rack upstairs because we're planning to use it as a storage unit of sorts. So this is like just a better option for the both of us. So I kind of like what I see here. So there are only 3 reviews for this on the website. So I think I have to check out Reddit for this. So let me see what Reddit has to say about this washing machine dryer combo from TCL. Okay, so far what I read here is that they're actually quite satisfied with this, which is good. And like, I'm not really picky with my appliances. So this is actually not bad, especially for the price. I like this because like for comparison, there's also like an LG washing machine here. It's only 8 kilograms front load washer and 5 kilograms dryer, and it's actually like 10,000 pesos more expensive than this one. So this sounds like an absolute good buy for me. Now the only thing that I have to think of right now is that I think I need to buy like a washing machine stand just to like elevate the washing machine a little bit, because if I do remember correctly, there is a little like slab of cement in the washing area in the unit, and I also don't want to be bending down when I'm doing the laundry. So I need to source for a washing machine stand that can actually accommodate this washing machine, and I'm sure I can just like find this online. You can also actually like have this installed. Okay, so that's the washing machine down. Alright, so let's go to smappliancecenter.com. So this is like the appliance center of a shopping mall here in the Philippines. It's called SM, and I've already done some e-shopping here a few weeks ago, so I have a few like air conditioning units on my cart now. So let's check this out first. I forgot on how expensive these 2 horsepowers like inverter type split aircons are, and I think we really don't have a choice. So this one is from Panasonic. We kind of like Panasonic. Our air conditioning unit in our home in the city is also from Panasonic. Right, so for this one, I kind of like the specifications that I see here, especially that it has dry mode on, because like when you're living in a condo unit, you have to have an air conditioning unit just like that dries up the space so that you don't get any molds in your home. And there's also another one that I got, which is actually a little bit cheaper. So let me double check why it's here. This one doesn't have dry mode on, basing off of the description here. So this is like a no-no, even if it's a little bit cheaper than the other air conditioning unit. Now I was also thinking of actually purchasing a dehumidifier if ever we move into the unit, just to like dehumidify the space. But I do remember like doing some initial like online checking for prices, but they're actually quite expensive. It's almost like buying a like air conditioning unit. So at least with this air conditioning unit, it has dry mode, so at least it like hits 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay, now we actually also do need to buy a like window type aircon for our unit, but we have to discuss that first with the property manager, because they're actually very specific with the measurement of the aircon that we can purchase, and also of the horsepower that we can purchase for the window type aircon. So this 2 horsepower inverter split time aircon is gonna be placed in our living room backslash kitchen area, and we need a window type aircon for our bedroom. So we just have to double check with that first, because again, they're very specific with the dimensions of the air conditioning unit that you can buy. So I'm gonna search for those types of air cons when we're about to move into that unit. Okay, so far, basing off of my list here, so those are the things that we need. Also here we need ceiling fans. So for ceiling fans, I can actually purchase them from a hardware store. So let me double check again. It's called Ace Hardware. So we actually need 2 or 3 ceiling fans, and I'm gonna be purchasing either this Westinghouse ceiling fan, so it's an industrial 3-blade type. So this one is a bit pricey at 6,500 pesos, but there's also a cheaper version from Asahi, which is half the price. This is a Japanese brand, so it's actually not so bad. So I do have good experiences using the Westinghouse ceiling fan, because that's the ceiling fan that we have in our home in the city and also in our home here in the province. So I just have to check the Asahi ceiling fan first to see how it looks like physically. Also, I have to feel if it's sturdy enough, or even aesthetically pleasing. I kind of like the Asahi ceiling fan though, because it's in white, while the Westinghouse ceiling fan is in silver. But I think they also have this in white too. I just have to double check again, because we're keeping the ceilings white in our unit. So at least if we put a white ceiling fan in our ceiling, it doesn't really stand out, and it's more aesthetically pleasing when you're looking at your unit as a whole. Okay, yeah, so that's it. So those are the things that I need to purchase at the moment before we move into our unit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to list down the price for every single appliance, and then try to see if I have the budget for it, because I'm the one in charge of actually of purchasing the appliances, because my partner is the one in charge of the renovations. So we actually initially planned of having the unit renovated first before we moved in, but we changed our mind, because we actually want to live in the unit first to see how the light comes in the morning, how the light comes in into the afternoon, and then we can just assess on if it's actually a good idea to put down a certain wall and expand a certain area, or close down a certain area of the unit. So I think it's best that we do that first, because we don't want to have any regrets when we have the unit renovated and it's not up to par on how we envision of how we live in the unit. Okay, all right, so that's it for me for this vlog. I'm gonna let you guys go now, because it's about lunchtime and I can see my partner calling me from the door. So that's it. I'm gonna let you guys go now. So if you have any more questions, please let me know down in the comments box, and let's have a conversation about it. All right, okay, so that's it for me today. I hope that you guys are having a good day wherever you are. Bye.